All right, welcome everyone. We're going to get started with some Git work, and we're going to explain what's happening here today. Let me just make sure the stream has started okay, and that we have audio, and then I'm going to share this out on some socials, and make sure that I have audio. Yeah, we've got audio. Okay, so the stream is up. I'm watching the chat, so please feel free to chat. Let me share from over here so we don't get the tunnel effect. 1 second. So I've shared it there. Let me share it somewhere else. And we'll get going. Sharing a post. Let's refactor Routing Table Buddy and Raptor to allow for any user input show command supported by PyATS instead of just show IP route. Join the AI development fun live on YouTube. And let me add some hashtags: AI, artificial intelligence, live stream, LangChain, OpenAI, ChatGPT, ChatGPT-4, Olama, open source, free, network automation, Cisco, ITS, Python, Streamlit, and then we'll get going. So let me post that, and we are all set. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make a new repository, and I'm going to reuse code. So the first thing we're going to do is go to repositories, and do I already have one called? No, I do not. All right, so we're going to make a new repository called iOS XE Buddy, and let me make it underscores. iOS XE Buddy, a basic RAG AI assistant for Cisco iOS XE, powered by Cisco ITS and Olama. Public, I'll add a README, and let's just make this Apache 2, create the repo. Alright, so I'm going to clone this repo locally, and then I'm going to bring in some code that I already have and refactor it. Fact sheet, so cd iOS XE Buddy, and we're going to go to Routing Table Buddy and source our code from the Routing Table Buddy. There's also some code I think I already have started. Chat with Catalyst. Let me just take a look at this chat with Catalyst code. I might already have something here. I need one with PyATS jobs. So chat with, let me just check this code here. No, that's not it. I might have to write this from scratch. I thought I had something similar. Let's just do it from scratch. That's fine. Are you sure it's not? Hang on. Stream just check this code. I'm pretty sure I have some code that I want to try to reuse. Yeah, I think this is it. All right, so yeah, this is what I want to reuse. Okay, good. Okay, so I have iOS XE Buddy, which I'm going to start with the code from Rouitng Table Buddy. And I'm going to grab those. And let's rename some things here. Routing, no, this is iOS XE Buddy. And this is iOS XE Buddy. We're going to change this to iOS XE Buddy langchain.job. iOS XE Buddy script. Alright, so I needed to change a bunch of things here. The first thing is in my scripts. I'm going to change into iOS XE Buddy and run the iOS XE Buddy.py. In my Docker file, I need to update this and change iOS XE Buddy to iOS XE Buddy. PyTS, yeah, everything else I need in the Docker file is there. Now in the compose, let me rename this to iOS XE Buddy. And let's give it a unique port so we're not conflicting. We'll give this 8502. All right. So now we have to actually adjust our script. So we're going to start with our, let's start with our langchain job. I have to update this as well. So testbed.yaml, and I have to update this because I'm using a local router through my VPN. And oops, it's a little different. Now I'm not going to commit that file because the always on sandbox was what the previous information was. So now in our langchain job, I need to call iOS XE Buddy script. And in the script, I need to adjust some things. So what I'm going to do is grab some of this code. So let's actually move that to the setup. So in the setup, we're going to have, actually no, it needs to be in the class. So we're going to set up self-device equals, and then we're going to read the command file. If it's show run, execute show run. If it's show log, execute show log, else. Yeah, so this is the code I want, and I'm going to add a couple more use cases. So capture command instead of these test cases. So if it's show run, else if it's show log, and let me add one more. Else if it's show tech. Make it a text file and execute the command with PyTS. Else try to parse it and write the file. Now I should add a try here. So we're going to try to parse the command and save it. And accept we're going to say print unable to parse show command, please reference the available parsers here. And let's give them a hyperlink to the available parsers. And this they just keep changing this. Parser library index. That's not quite what I want. I don't want to use it with Ansible. There used to be a direct link to the PyTS parsers. Available parsers. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to go copy this link into the documents here. And that will be my except if they can't parse the command. Okay, so that's good, and I need to just save it to command output.txt. So now in my lang chains here, run the PyTS job, run PyTS job. So I need to adjust this code a little bit. Now let's see how am I doing it in my other code. So inside of my streamlit.py, let's look for command.txt. Yeah, it's sort of what I want here. Let me try to figure this out. So when that's the button to run the job. I need to change the name of this to iOS XE buddy job.py. Yeah, alright, so that's going to run that. But I need to give them an input box and a way to save the file. Alright, so let's hop over to ChatGPT and get a little bit of help. And we're going to say, would like to add an input box where the user puts in their command, save it to command.txt. Is that caps? No, command.txt. Then the user presses a button to run the PyTS command with this button will save the input file and then trigger the PyTS job, something like this. And we're going to take our code here run the job. And we're going to take right now, depending on what they run, up here I have the load text. So I gotta mention that too. So all right, hang on, I gotta back up a couple steps. I gotta go to my PyTS script and see what I'm writing here. So I'm writing command output.text. Now, else I want show command output.json. And then in here, how did I do that over here? Yeah, so then hang on. All right, so save it to text, something like this. If it is a .text file, use a text loader. Otherwise, fall back to a .json loader. Let's just see what this comes up with here as a starting point. There's a couple things I need to change. First, I have the loader, and I need to determine whether or not this is command.json. Command output, okay. Well, that's what so I gotta save that to command and then command output. I see, I wanna do this in two different steps. Because that's going to save command output.text. So this here needs to be command output.json. And I need to add some logic here. Alright, so let's do one thing at a time. The first thing is I need the input here. Say show command equals please enter a show command, and then we're going to write that to command.text. Then we can run the PyTS job when we press the button. Which will then give them the Olama, and everything else should be the same. Now the difference here is when I do the load text. So that's the command, and we're going to run the PyTS job, and that's going to save. So now load text. I need to adjust. So where do I initialize my chat? Right here. And that's where I run my load text. And they should have already done the PyTS stuff. So now we have an output file called command.text, and when we instantiate command table router here, we're going to do something a little different. Okay, so in this function, can we first detect if there is a local file called command output.txt, or if it is command output.json. If it's JSON, use this, else use a text loader. Now I need to input the text loader along with the JSON loader. Document loaders. So we're just going to adjust this little load text function to detect whether or not there's a .text or a .json file, and then use the appropriate loader to load up the output from the file. Yeah, this is being pretty verbose. I just need the load text module. That's a little much, isn't it? Load text or load JSON and do a setup conversation. Alright, so what we're going to do is do setup conversation here. And add a self conversation if self load JSON, self load text. Okay. And then self load JSON looks a little different. And then we add self.text loader. And I want to use the loader load and split here for self.pages. Alright, let's give that a go. Let's give that a go, and we'll try some other commands. Did I miss anything? I don't. Let's just try it. My front end has the show command which writes the text file. Let's try it. Do I have any Docker to flush? Let me kill my WebEx here. Hang on. Okay, alright, so Docker compose up. Now I've preloaded some models, including Mistral, which is the model we'll be using from Olama. And we'll just give this a couple seconds or minutes to load, and we'll give it a go. I'm a little concerned about my front end, so let's check here. We load the PyTest job. A session state get, please enter show command. They enter a show command, and then we write that show command. We have a button to run the PyTest job where they run the PyTest job. Then we can get the model, and then we proceed to actually chatting with And I'm going to change this routing table, ask a question about the show command output. And where else do I have chat with routing table? Routing table buddy should be iOS XE buddy. Where else do I have that? I should rename the function to chat with iOS XE, and that means I need to rename this, and we'll let this finish, bring it down, bring it back up, no worries. The idea here is that instead of just show IP route being hard-coded and chatting with routing tables, is that you can put in any show command supported by the parsing list, wherever that went, and here, right? So if we go to iOS XE, any of these show commands will work. And if we do something like show run or show tech or show logging, it will be the raw text. So we have a loader for the JSON output from, say, show AAA sessions, which comes back as JSON. But something like show logging or show tech or show run, there is not necessarily a JSON parser for it. So what we're going to do is accept all those commands. We could even add dir. dir is accepted. Everything is frozen here while my container builds. Just hang on. Everything's kind of locked up here. There we go. So like dir is accepted. I should add some code to handle dir, which comes back as JSON. Actually, I think my code will handle dir as it is. Let me take a look. I think I'm doing if show run, else if show log, else if show tech, else try the command. So dir should work along with all these other show commands. What we'll probably do is try show IP interface brief, and then show interface. And there's no neighbors or anything. We could make sure show IP route still works. But this is going to make this a little bit more universal. The other thing is that it's private and free and local. So you could, in theory, point this at your production stuff because it's all contained locally on your laptop. The LLM is local, the embeddings are local, the vector store is local. There's nothing here using third-party or external resources. So we're just going to chill while this builds the container for the first time. You can see that PyTS is being installed now, and we're just waiting for PyTS to install. There's going to be a few pauses here as we build. Right now we're under the LangChain requirements. The instructor XL requirements are rather heavy in a container, so we got to wait a minute or two while we pull down the free open source embeddings libraries that we require. But we'll get there. And again, this process, we only have to do this one time. The containers will be built and ready to go after this first one-time build. So we're just going to chill. And we're going to go to localhost 3002 to check our Olama and just validate that we've got models. And this is 8502 iOS XE Buddy. And we're just going to hang out and wait while these things get going. And I don't think I need that anymore. Yeah, now I'm on the instructor embeddings. So we just have to hang out a couple more steps in the Docker, and we'll get going again. Thanks for joining me. If you want to let me know where you're coming from, or if you have any questions, I am watching the chat channel window. All right, so yeah, some NVIDIA stuff to download. We'll get there in a second. And then I do hope to refactor the Raptor version of this. We'll see how long this takes. I've done the Buddy version, and then I'd like to do the Raptor version. Now, Raptor will be much better for larger data sets. So this is using basic RAG with multi-query, and it will work well on small data sets, 8-port devices, maybe even a 48-port device. We'll have to see. But if you want to get into deeper analysis and deeper insights for much larger data sets, like a show run or a show, it depends, right? If you have a stack of iOS XE devices, you're going to want to move to Packet Raptor or to iOS XE Raptor, which I hope to rewrite after this. I'm starting with the Buddy version. Now I have a VPN tunnel up, so I should be able to test this with a real iOS XE device. And if we have success, then I'll look at refactoring. Oh, and I need to change branches here. Oh no, I'm in main because this is my first initial push. Never mind. Not much to do but to wait here, everyone. And again, one time, first time build. It won't be like this moving forward. Yeah, 737 megs for this dependency, so it should start to pick up. Now this one's 410. So we're just chilling, waiting for the local dependencies to come in for... this is worth it, and I'll show you why it's worth it. Just in embeddings in March, I think I spent $20 just on embeddings alone. So yes, it's a little bit of grind here to wait for the packages and stuff, but it is free and local and secure. Anyway, everything's grinding because of the packages. There we go. So embeddings, $19 in embeddings for the month of March, which I won't spend ever again because now I've got the open source embeddings from Instructor Excel. Okay, so it's still kind of churning away here. And now it's actually going to build and install. All right, so we're getting closer. It's actually installing all these packages now. And we just have to be patient while this builds the one time. Should be any minute now. It's kind of grinding here. I don't see much progress. Yeah, it's kind of chunking away. We'll just give this a bit more time. Come on. All right, so it's moved along, and now we're just waiting for our layers, and our Docker will come up. Thanks for your patience. We're just waiting now for the layers to come up. And then we've got our containers, and we can check this out. Again, first attempt, let's just see how well this works. We may have to fine tune it a bit. I'm gonna check Olama and make sure that I have models ready to go. Well, hopefully we'll use Mistral. Okay, so creating, here we go, everything's coming up. 8501. I made a mistake here. What did I miss? I missed a TOML file. 8502 is what I want. I just need a TOML file. 1 second. Rouitng Table Buddy. No, let's use, because that might not have a TOML file. Rouitng Table RAPTOR. And then where do I put that TOML? Do I need to map that in my compose? Yeah, volumes. All right, sorry about that. That was just a minor mishap there. So now we'll bring it back up on the right port. And we'll take a look and see what happens. Is Olama empty? Yeah, it is. All right, so I got to grab a model. Let me just go ahead and grab Mistral from Olama. That'll take a couple minutes to pull. Okay, well, let's just take a look at the UI here. What does it look like now? No models available. Yeah, I'm missing an input button here now. I should have left it to grab Mistral. Anyway, UI is not quite right. SD button ask. I need a text input. Okay, let's let this grab Mistral, and we'll poke around with ChatGPT and make sure while this downloads. All right, let's see, what does it look like now? Do I have an input box? All right, so the idea here is to say, and we can troubleshoot, we can go ahead without the model. Show IP route, enter, run job, provided file iOSXE buddy underscore job does not exist because I renamed it. iOSXE buddy dot job. Now I gotta try it again. Okay, now we gotta get into the back and forth of trial and error here, and I gotta remember I'm downloading a model. I gotta let that finish. And let's grab phi while we're at it, so we have a nice small model to test with, and that won't take nearly as long to download. Alright, so if I want to say show IP route, enter, run job, it did run show IP route. Now let's try another command. And then the idea is to move along, pick your model, and then have the conversation with it. Right, so no models available. We gotta wait for these models to download. So that's a pretty good start. Now actually, let me just try to mess with it. Show IP interface brief. Enter to save the file. Run PyTS job. So that would be a good start. And then we can look in the container. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll let this finish and then we'll look into the container. Everything's grinding because I'm downloading these models in the background. So come on, run show IP interface brief. Come on. Run show IP interface brief. Yeah, it did. Wonderful. So we've got the UI running the right command. Now let's look into the Docker and see if I'm saving the file. Command output.json right there. And there is the output.json, which will get loaded into the lang chain. And there is our command.text. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha! Alright, so now we just gotta wait for these models to download to fully kick the tires here. But if you've just joined, we've joined at a good time. We've added an input box here where the user can add whatever show command they want, provided it has a matching parser. They then run the PyTS job, which will run that command and get the JSON or the text, depending on what you run here. And let's do show run, enter, run the job, and we'll see if we get show run, the text file inside of our container. So we'll refresh our container once this runs. It should be running the PyTS job, no? There we go. Alright, there's just some latency because of the models being downloaded. Alright, so we're going to do show run, and in this case we should get the text back, not the JSON back. And we should get command.text, not command.json. Let's try it. And then we're going to use a text loader. Now we haven't tested the JSON loading part or the text loading part. There's still some moving parts that haven't been touched yet. We're getting there. We're just waiting for these models to download, which are churning away. So there's show run. And if I right there's command output.text, which is the show run. So show run, show log, show tech should all generate text files that then we can chat with. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's let these models finish. Does anyone have any questions or comments so far? Please let me know. I am keeping an eye on the chat. Thank you for joining me on this spring Sunday. And we're just waiting for models to download, and then we're going to have them as part of our menu system. Now, because I've ran a few commands and we have some garbage files in there, I'm going to bring the container down and bring it back up, but not delete this container, because now we'll actually have a couple of models to choose from. So we're off to a good start. I'm excited to do this for the Raptor project as well. So this takes in any command at all. So we're just almost there with our models. Another couple of minutes. Thanks for being patient, everyone. And I'm just going to jump on socials real quick on my side machine here while we're waiting. See what's going on. Okay, so it's validating the digests and installing these models. And now if I check delete, there they both are. Alright, okay, great. So now, let's just refresh this page, and now I can actually pick my models. So let's bring the container down just to flush out the those garbage files that we've already created. And this will just take a second, don't worry about this. We're just going to get rid of the buddy, and we're going to bring it up. And now in theory we can chat with this router with any show command or whatever command. So we're going to try to move ahead here, and we're going to refresh the page and run show interfaces. Is it show interfaces or show interface? Geez. Give me 1 second. Parsers. XE. Show interface. Show interfaces. Alright, with an S. Show interfaces. Enter. Is everything frozen? Yeah, hang on. Show interfaces. Enter. Run PyTS job. And now this should run show interfaces and make a command output file that's JSON in structure. There's our interfaces. Okay. And now if I peek into the container, I have a command output.json with an info wrapper. Yeah, alright. And now I should be able to proceed to chat, picking Mistral. Proceed to chat. Are all of my interfaces healthy? Ask. So now I'm downloading the Instructor XL embeddings model locally. I only have to do this once, and then it will cache it. I'm also going to add some logic when maybe at the very, very end add a button that will flush the database and let the user ask a new question with a new command. Maybe I'll do that before we wrap up today. The other thing is when I'm in my code, somewhere in my code where I'm instantiating my database here, what I might do is add some logic that deletes any existing database. So if someone refreshes the page or wants to do a new command, but at the very, very end, after I display the chat, I can add a new button that will flush the database and bring them back to page 1. Something like that. Okay, so now it's actually moved on, and you can see in my GPU, I've loaded Mistral, which is 3.83 gigs or 7.24 billion parameters. It's loaded into my NVIDIA GeForce 2060 Super. And I'm at the API generate phase with a post to the Olama API. So now I should start getting tokens back. And here we go. Not all the interfaces are healthy. These ones with these MAC addresses have an opera status of down. Additionally, this one had 2 errors. Pretty cool, right? So I'm actually can chat with any single available parsing command with an iOS XE device. So what I'm going to do here is, that's the conversation history. And we have the conversation history, and as I ask more questions, the history will just keep building. I'm going to say which interface has input errors, and what else can you tell me about that interface? Ask. And now this will update the conversation history to show my original question and now my new question, and kind of had a ChatGPT like history. Are they all healthy? Which has input errors? And it shows me that it's VLAN 301 with that MAC. And here's some further insights. All for free, all locally. So now I think, right, what I need to do before I move along is add another button that's at the end that says, right, run a new command. And that run a new command will flush the existing Chroma database if there is one. Also, if the user refreshes the page, I'd like to flush out the existing database. So this is just awesome. This is just awesome. So now we're going to bring it down. And I'm going to check in my code, right, just to say that everything is working and got everything I need here. Working initial prototype, more to come. This is just lets me stash my code in case I goof on anything, and I'm not going to push it to the repo just yet. Okay, so then at the very end I have my conversation history. So I need to add a button here after that's been displayed. So I'm going to just copy this and explain what I need, and I also need that other function. So we're going to hit ChatGPT up, and we're going to say, hi, this is working, but I would like to add a button at the very end after the user conversation history is displayed that will refresh, bring the user back to the home page, back to the first page, and delete the database to refresh it for the next command. Something like this, and now I need to add, where did that go? Here. Also, I would like to add to the stored chroma some logic to check and delete any existing self.vectordb in case the user hit refresh on the page. And then I need to give them the bottom of the code to show them the page layout. We should get some quick updates here to, and did I bring everything down and kill it yet? Yeah, I did. All right. We're done with Olama. So I guess I don't need to explicitly delete the database because when I run this check in Chroma, it's going to handle that for me. All right, so then I just need to add this button here. Oops. And that's just going to be rerun. And then in my Chroma function, I don't want .reset, I just want to delete it. I don't know if Chroma has a .reset, can we just delete it? Delete the entire base connection. No, I just want to delete it. Vector store dot delete. There is a dot delete function. Yeah, this will be fine. Okay, good. So now I have a refresh button, I think. It'll take me back to the page. And I'm going to say run a new show command. And I flushed it. So any iOS XE command with AI analysis and any question you want to ask it. So let's check this out now. So we're going to run show IP interface brief, enter, run job. There's our command, our table. And we're just waiting for PyTS to finish. And then we'll go ahead and pick our model, Mistral. Proceed to chat. And say, are all of my interfaces healthy? What can you tell me about them? Now we got to download the model because it's a fresh install. But this won't happen after this only happens once. So when we click the refresh button and ask, a new show command, this theoretically should be cached and we won't have to worry about it again. Just checking some things. And then once this works, we'll wrap things up. I'll refactor the Raptor version of this on my own. Now that we've laid the foundation for it, I'll write iOS XE Raptor instead of Buddy. And we're going to build a Raptor tree and chat with the Raptor tree, basically doing what we're doing here. Now I'm into the GPU. We're loading up Mistral, and we're trying to answer my question about are all my interfaces healthy and what can you tell me about them. Right, and there's everything. So now if I say run a new show command, right, and I say, oh, see, that didn't take me back to where I wanted it to go. It took me back here. So when I click run a show command, where's that supposed to take me? IETS job. Can I take it directly to that page? Let's try that. I want it to take me right back to the main page, not back to the show command. That also would have flushed the, no, it wouldn't have flushed the database necessarily. So let's try to jump right into page, which should take me here, if they click the run a new show command button. We just have to go through the process one more time. And let's try something with show run, since we're here and we got to do something new. So we're going to do show run, enter, run PyETS job. And we're going to ask it, is this config secure? Something like that. And again, the more data, if this was a super packed show run on a super large stack of devices or something in the data center, you're going to want the Raptor version of this. But I'm starting here, so now I can say, based on the running configuration, is this device configured securely? Ask. We're going to grab the model, and again, I'm just testing if that button will take me all the way back to the home page. I'm hoping so, just by saying directly here. See, the session state, that should do it. That should have taken me back to PyETS job. I don't know. I think it should have been like this. Session state equals. Session state page equals PyETS job. Yeah, that should have taken me there. I don't know. Let's see. It should be that session state, which is what it had, but it didn't take me back to the main page. It took me back to this page. Let's just see if my direct call here right? So here's the security, right? It says it's basically not configured securely. This is just awesome stuff, okay? Run a new show command. See, it doesn't take me back. It just leaves me here. Run a new show command. When I click the button, it seems to just refresh the page to where the user can ask questions instead of refreshing all the way back to ITS job page. Seems to just refresh page chat when I click the new button to refresh back to the first page. I think there is just rerun, or do I need to run experimental rerun? I could try it. Yeah, if it seems you're already doing this with state rerun. Let's move this right outside of here. Let's add it as its own separate button, instead of being nested inside of that logic. Now it's going to show that button probably throughout the app now, which might not be a bad thing. Maybe you ran the wrong command and you want to start again. So now there's probably going to be a, not on this page, let's do show, yeah, IP interface brief again, run the job. Alright, so proceed to chat. See, there's the run. Let's just try this button on its own. Okay, it works. Alright, yeah, that was what I thought. And now I have a fresh database for a new command. Ha! Alright. So iOS XE Buddy is like in the can, everyone. I'm gonna like really, this is awesome. Totally free, totally local, totally private, totally secure. Let me push in this, and I'm going to say refresh button working. And we're going to push those in, and now we have a new repo. So thanks for joining me. I will be working on iOS XE Raptor for larger stacks, larger devices, more production grade stuff, huge routing tables, huge logging files, etc. That's going to be coming next, but I need to take a bit of a break. So I might do a new live stream later today. I don't know yet. Haven't made up my mind. This went really well. Thank you for joining. Follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share this stuff on your networks if you learned something or had some fun today. All right. Thanks again, everyone.